Most investors think that SOXX is just another tech ETF, but that's not really what it is, because SOXX isn't built around technology broadly. It's built around one of the most volatile and powerful industries inside the entire market, semiconductors. And over the last several years, semiconductor stocks have created enormous wealth for investors, while also producing some of the hardest swings to handle emotionally. And if you don't fully understand what you own before buying something like SOXX, this ETF can feel very different than what you expected once the market gets rough. But this is where things change. SOXX is built almost entirely around semiconductors, the companies responsible for designing and manufacturing the chips that power modern technology. And because of that, this ETF can experience explosive growth during the right market environment, but it can also swing much harder than broader funds when the sector cools off. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what SOXX is, how it works, how it's built, and most importantly, who it actually makes sense for and who it doesn't. Hi, I'm Greg Hardy, and welcome back to the channel, and thank you for being here. We cover all things personal finance, investing, and building a secure financial future. So if you're serious about taking control of your money and also learning something new every week, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It really helps the channel out and gets this information to more people who need it. Thank you. SOXX is the iShares Semiconductor ETF, and right away that tells you something important. This is not a broad market ETF, and it's not even a broad technology ETF like VGT or QQQM. This is a highly focused semiconductor fund, which means it invests almost entirely in companies connected to the semiconductor industry. So when you buy SOXX, you're not buying technology as a whole, you're making a very specific bet on one of the most important industries inside technology itself. And that industry impacts almost everything around us. Semiconductors power smartphones, computers, AI, cloud computing, electric vehicles, gaming systems, data centers, and even household appliances. Nearly every major technological trend today relies on semiconductor chips in some way. And because demand for technology continues to grow, semiconductors have become one of the most important industries in the entire global economy. That's why SOXX holds companies like NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD, Qualcomm, Texas Instruments, and Intel. These are companies sitting at the center of how modern technology functions. And over the last several years, especially with the rise of AI, the semiconductor industry has become one of the biggest growth areas in the market. But that focus is important to understand because SOXX isn't diversified across different sectors of the economy. It's heavily concentrated in one specific industry. And that changes both the upside potential and the risk. SOXX tracks the ICE Semiconductor Index. Now that sounds complicated, but here's what actually matters. The ETF is designed to give investors exposure to some of the largest and most influential semiconductor companies in the market. It only holds a relatively small number of companies compared to broad market ETFs, which means each holding has a much larger impact on performance. So when companies like NVIDIA or Broadcom have huge moves, you feel it inside the ETF almost immediately. Those companies can significantly influence how the entire fund performs. And that's one of the reasons SOXX has historically experienced much larger swings than broader funds have. And here's something investors really need to understand. Even though SOXX holds multiple semiconductor companies, many of them are tied to similar economic drivers. So when demand for chips is strong, the entire industry can surge together. But when demand slows, inventory builds up, or the economy weakens, the entire sector can struggle at the same time. It's one of the biggest differences between something like SOXX and a broad ETF. The companies may be different, but they're all heavily connected to the same industry cycle. This is where a lot of investors get tripped up, because on the surface, SOXX might just look like another aggressive tech ETF, but it behaves very differently from something like VGT or QQQM. VGT gives you broad exposure across the technology sector. QQQM gives you exposure to large growth companies across multiple sectors. But SOXX is much more narrow than both of them. It focuses almost entirely on semiconductors, and semiconductors tend to move in cycles much more aggressively than the broader market. That means SOXX can outperform dramatically when the semiconductor industry is booming, and we've seen that happen during periods of strong AI growth, cloud expansion, and increasing chip demand. During those periods, semiconductor companies can grow extremely fast, which can push SOXX significantly higher than broader ETFs. But the opposite is also true. When the semiconductor industry slows down, SOXX can fall much faster than investors expect. Because unlike diversified funds, there's really nowhere to hide it inside the ETF. Almost every holding is connected to the same industry theme, and that makes SOXX feel very different to own compared to something like an S&P 500 ETF. The upside can be incredible, but the volatility can feel much more intense along the way. Now, this is probably the most important part of this entire breakdown, because a lot of investors hear ETF and automatically assume diversification. But with SOXX, concentration risk is something you really need to understand before buying. A relatively small group of holdings can make up a very large percentage of the fund. So even though you technically own multiple companies, your results are still heavily influenced by a handful of major semiconductor players at the top. Because semiconductor stocks themselves tend to be volatile, that concentration can create much larger swings in performance than many investors are comfortable with. And this is the part that most investors underestimate. Because volatility sounds manageable when the market is going up. But when an ETF drops 25%, 30%, or even more in a short period of time, it suddenly feels completely different emotionally. That's usually where investors discover whether they truly understood the risk going in. When the industry is performing well, that concentration can feel amazing. Gains can happen quickly, and the ETF can significantly outperform the broader market. But during downturns, those same concentrated positions can create sharp pullbacks that test investors emotionally. And that's where a lot of people struggle, because owning SOXX during a strong bull market feels easy. Holding it during a major semiconductor correction is a completely different experience. That's why SOXX usually works better as a focused growth position rather than a one-fund portfolio solution. It's not designed for balance. It's designed for targeted exposure to one of the fastest growing and most volatile areas of the market. Over long periods of time, semiconductors have been one of the strongest performing areas in the market. And because SOXX is heavily focused on that industry, it has benefited tremendously during periods when chip demand and technological innovation are accelerating. When AI, cloud computing, data centers, gaming, or high-performance computing are driving growth, semiconductors often sit right in the middle of that trend. And during those environments, SOXX can dramatically outperform broader market ETFs like the S&P 500. But here's what investors can't forget. Semiconductor stocks are extremely cyclical. The industry tends to go through periods of boom and slowdown. Demand rises quickly, then cools off. Inventory builds up, pricing changes, and investor sentiment shifts. And during those periods, semiconductor ETFs can experience significant volatility. That's one of the reasons SOXX can sometimes outperform the market by a wide margin and other times underperform significantly. So the question isn't just, has SOXX performed well historically? The better question is, am I comfortable owning something this concentrated and cyclical? Because understanding that upfront makes it much easier to stay invested when volatility inevitably shows up. The exact thing that helps SOXX outperform during bull markets is the same thing that can make it emotionally difficult to hold during downturns. SOXX tends to make the most sense for investors who strongly believe in the long-term growth of semiconductors and want focused exposure to that industry. If you believe that AI, cloud infrastructure, advanced computing, and digital tech will continue expanding over the next decade, SOXX can be a very powerful way to invest in that trend. It can work really well as a growth tilt inside a larger portfolio or as a satellite position alongside a broader fund like an S&P 500 ETF. Especially for investors who already have a diversified core portfolio and want to increase exposure to AI, chip demand, and long-term technological infrastructure growth without picking individual semiconductor stocks. In that role, it can potentially boost long-term growth while still allowing the rest of your portfolio to stay diversified. But it's probably not ideal for investors who want smoother performance, broad diversification, or something that they can hold without much volatility. Because SOXX can experience large swings, and those swings can feel uncomfortable if you're not prepared for them. And that's really the key with a fund like this. The more focused the ETF, the more important investor behavior becomes. Because concentration can create incredible upside, but it can also create emotional pressure during downturns. And this is where I think a lot of investors get it wrong. They try to use SOXX as their entire portfolio, when in reality it usually works better alongside something broader, because on its own, SOXX is heavily dependent on one industry. But when you pair it with something like an S&P 500 ETF, such as SPYM, or a total market fund, you create a much stronger foundation while still giving yourself exposure to the long-term growth potential of semiconductors. You could also combine it with something like SCHD to add more stability and dividend income to the portfolio. That way, you're not relying entirely on aggressive growth stocks to drive your long-term results. And honestly, that's usually where focused ETFs work best. Not as the entire portfolio, but as a tool that enhances a diversified foundation that allows you to benefit from the upside potential of semiconductors without putting all of your portfolio weight into one volatile area of the market. At the end of the day, SOXX isn't really a bet on technology as a whole. It's a bet on one of the most important industries powering the future of technology. And that's what makes it both exciting and risky at the same time. Because when you invest in something this focused, you're making a decision about where you believe future growth is going to come from. And if that thesis plays out, SOXX can be incredibly powerful over long periods of time. But if that semiconductor industry struggles for a stretch, this ETF can feel much harder to hold than broader funds. And I think that's what investors need to remember. Performance matters, but behavior matters more. Because the best ETF in the world won't help you if you panic and sell during volatility. Because in investing, the biggest mistake usually isn't buying the wrong ETF, it's abandoning a good strategy at the worst possible time. So I'd love to hear from you. What's your take on SOXX? Do you see it as a core holding or more of a satellite growth position alongside broader ETFs? And would you personally rather own a concentrated semiconductor fund like SOXX or stick with a broader technology exposure through something like VGT or QQQM? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. If you found this video eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. And if you want more practical, no-nonsense advice on building wealth and securing your financial future, then check out this video here. And also, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.